Good morning, everyone. You're watching the Quench Academy, and this is Shweta Aluwalia, your host for Tea Talks to Detox Career Series. If you are feeling financially overstressed or overstressed while we're all dealing with whatever's going on in the world, this program today and this episode is just for you. How to earn extra side income during the global difficult times. Believe you me, this is the only show that will teach you everything that education forgot to teach us about career creation and wealth generation. The Quench Academy pledges to roll out sumptuous sessions each Saturday on how to correctly navigate and amplify your efforts in the right direction. So, do keep connected and keep updated about all our future episodes. Honestly, each one of you is born with a spark within that the world needs. And I will help you discover that magic, that spark, that core strength that you have and use it to make your dreams come true. And the launch of Tea Talks to Detox Career Series in hindsight today, I feel could not have been better time than now. Four reasons are: one, the current situation the world is dealing with; two, the year that we are in, which is 2020, is the beginning of a new decade; three, we just have wound up a previous decade; and four, this is the right time to enlist whatever we learned from the previous decade, what worked, what didn't, and apply them in the decade ahead and make the most of it. So it's a great time to prepare yourself with all the arms and ammunitions, tools and techniques, and values and valor to make it big. This entire show is actually inspired by the virus that has engulfed the entire world. And hold, I'm not referring to the COVID coronavirus, but I'm talking about the virus of negativity that has crippled the globe mentally. I hear more people foresee the world's doom than boon. And today's episode is inspired by a question that landed in my inbox just recently, last week. And it got me thinking that I must talk about this and help people who are dealing with similar crises. This question is from Preeti in Bangalore. She says, Shweta, please help. I'm 36 and have 10 years of sales and marketing training experience. I'm a single mother. My daughter is 17 and at the crossroad of making a career decision herself. Unfortunately, I have been laid off during this pandemic and very neatly, a very neat L&D career that I had, which was spread over 5 years in the same organization. Though I understand the dynamics of current financial meltdown, I'm not sure how to support my family through this pandemic. I'm hardworking, speak well, and write well. Sales is what I enjoy doing. However, I'm not sure if it is too late to make a career change. What can I do next without much ado? Preeti, this is a very, very, very amazing question. And yes, I have a lot to share on this. But first of all, you must know, of course, you can make a career change. It is never too late. It is just never, never, never too late. Hashtag never too late. I have enough proof to back it up, which I will share as we move along. Remember, everyone who's watching and listening to us, necessity is the mother of invention. Every situation and a new situation demands a new way of thinking and dealing with it. Hence, here I am urging all of you to introspect. So get set, for I'm about to share the magic mantra to help you support your families during this financial crisis. And this magic mantra is called hobby careers or sidekick to generate side income. I personally chose to call it sidekick, as colloquially referred to by Salman Khan in his blockbuster movie Kick, which means doing something that gives you ultimate joy and also some real tangible rewards and perks in return. Hobby career or sidekick is a damn interesting way to generate wealth, trust me. And in current times, when the world is wrangling with pandemic COVID-19 blows to careers and jobs, it is or it may just prove to be an utterly important move to row your own financial boats. So, we all know the current crisis has already cost the world some 25 million jobs. That's not a small figure, guys. And some 45% of the working population of the world globally is left in a lurch. So, are you not? So, Preeti, I must tell you that you're not alone. You're not alone. There are hundreds and thousands and millions of people wrestling with the same demon. So, this remedy of wealth generation may be useful for everyone out there who is right now locked in and beyond, meandering through the same phase. It is something that you can easily water and tender and see bear financial fruits in time. And why should you listen to me? Because I have 2 decade long experience of working with young adults and young professionals just like you and help them pick up skills to be extraordinary, both personally and professionally. So let's get ready to create a sidekick for you, which is a hobby career, especially through this pandemic. So now let me ask you something first of all. Why a hobby career? Why at all a hobby career? Because as the name suggests, it involves doing something which is your hobby. Something that you call hobby is something that interests you and it brings you excitement, happiness, extra energy. You look forward to it, there's enthusiasm, and you go for it again and again and again without any regret. Even if it earns you nothing, no monetary rewards in return, no tangible benefits, you don't give up. So, what better way to ensure success at what you do than to do something which has passion, perseverance, commitment, and zero expectation? Now, hear me out. I will share with you 3 logical reasons why anybody should have or contemplate having a hobby career. Reason number one, it is something you can't fail at. Think about things that you love doing in your free time, your activities that you enjoy with friends or even when alone, things that you call your hobby, like painting, writing, singing, dancing, playing an instrument, or cleaning, like myself. Cleaning happens to be my OCD. Now, do you ever feel that when you engage in something that you utterly enjoy, you feel as a failure? No, you never feel a sense of failure. You just feel happy and happier. In fact, it is something that interests you so much that you find time to do it and you enjoy it. It makes life fun, and unlike a regular job 24/7 which puts additional pressure, this does not even put that pressure on you. And you like to experiment when engaging in it. You experiment just to see what works, what doesn't, and have more fun. And that alone adds value. So, reason number one, it is something that does not fail. There's no room for failing. Now, reason number two, why should you have or anybody have a hobby career is people in jobs, in regular jobs, earn money, not job satisfaction. That is, even before this corona COVID crisis struck the humanity, there was enough research data available out in the world. You can please go and refer to Google that 80% of people in jobs did not experience job satisfaction, which means they had a job which paid them money, which helped them pay their bills, but they weren't engaged in their work. They didn't wake up each morning excited, looking forward to going to work. They weren't happy. So, why wouldn't anyone rather dabble in and explore doing something which a person loves and makes work fun? And also, it has scope for giving money. I think it's a win win in my opinion. So, reason number two, people in regular jobs may not experience, and data says that they do not experience job satisfaction, but here you have no reason for not being happy. It is your hobby, your interest, total 100% job satisfaction guaranteed. Next, reason number three, why should anybody contemplate and consider hobby career? People learn about running a business. Wow. Ideally, that is what people spend lakhs of rupees to learn in an MBA program. Is that not so? Be it a Harvard Business School or an IIMs or any top notch MBA school. So, MBA programs are supposed to teach you how businesses are run end to end. So, if you start your hobby career or a sidekick, you start to learn the basic principles of running a business: sales, marketing, operation, finances, etc. etc. And honestly, jobs earn you 3 square meals a day, no matter how good a job is. However, businesses, if they strike and you break the deal, then they earn you fortunes. The basic fundamentals that you learn are the things that you don't ever learn as an employee. Your company do that, your bosses do that. You just go and do your teeny meeny job and come back, which is just a small portion of running the entire business end to end. When you work in a job, it is your employer's perspective, not yours, to look after the health of the overall business. So, how an idea can be translated into a cash is something that your bosses or the owners of the business are responsible for. So, and personally, since I run my own business, I prefer hiring people who have run a sidekick or a side hustle or a hobby career. Successfully or not does not matter, because at least of they have some understanding of how businesses are run. So, what it takes to see an idea, a product, or a service translate into cash. Therefore, they are bound to understand my work end to end better, as they are better workers and have more respect for what goes into running a company, especially right now through this pandemic. So, if you have an experience of running a sidekick, you're going to be so much more attractive to the employers, and your experience and knowledge will naturally come across in the interview. It is very clear. It is very clear. Why should you consider a hobby career or a sidekick? Number one, not only extra income, but also first hand experience of running a business. And third, which is most applicable in the current reference, that you also have an edge in the job market. Now that we're talking about money, and I must confess, I love money. Why? Because money helps you do whatever you want in the world. It touches every aspect of your life. So, no matter where you are economically, you always have room for growth. Let me introduce you to someone who has helped millions of people around the world live and finish rich. And the person's name is David Bach. American financial authors of our times, with 11 consecutive bestsellers and 9 consecutive New York Times bestsellers, and many more in print in almost every language in the world. His most popular book, The Automatic Millionaire, spent some 31 weeks on the New York Times bestseller. He has dedicated 20 years of his life in helping people learn how to finish rich. And you know what? His most popular philosophy that he has shared often with his people is, you're richer than you think, you're more powerful than you know, and small amount of money can change your lives completely. You know what? Whenever he's addressing audience, and generally his seminars have auditoriums full of people, his first question to his audience is, do you wanna be rich? Which obviously excites everyone. Followed by, why do you wanna be rich? Now I want you to check if you have goals like bigger mansions, luxury lifestyle, zero debts as your reasons for why you wanna be rich. Just hold. Because if you set out to chase these tangible luxury goals, it will get difficult. Because David Bach claims, once you start on that trajectory, setting luxury items as your goals, when the reality hits hard, and it does, because earning money and becoming rich is not easy, it never is. It requires a lot of persistence, perseverance, and sustained hard work and effort. So if you have these monetary luxury items as your goals, and these monetary luxury items in your journey to success generally happen at far end, at the other end. And initially, what happens and strikes is hardship, disappointments, failures, and you require a lot of appetite to survive all of that. And if you're hoping and waiting for luxury items to just drop in your lap, trust me, it just demotivates. And hence, people derail and they give up and they quit, because tangible rewards happen so late. You have to keep working hard, at times for days, for weeks, for months, at times for years. So, all the hardships and all the failures and all the disappointments are the test of are the proof of the pudding. So, David Bach recommends Don't start with luxury items as your goal. Start with your values first. Your values are those reasons which get you to work hard. Your values are that cost that you're willing to pay for success. Money is not bad, guys. You must get some facts right. Having money is not bad. Money is not a bad thing to possess, and people with money are not bad people. Money makes it possible for you to live who you are and want to be authentically. So you can choose whatever you want to do with your money. For example, if you earn some extra money, you can pursue a philanthropic goal, just like Bill and Melinda Gates. Now, now I want to know, have you ever experimented with some hobby career? If yes, what is the most important lesson that you learned from it? Please share with me in the comments below so that I can crowdsource some wisdom and share with hundreds of others who are logged in or should be listening to what you have to say. Because people often come back with questions like, one, are they too old to start a sidekick or a hobby career? Or two, if it is a big deal to consider doing it at all. Now, uh, let me let me share with you a very interesting fact, and that is 80-20. 80-20 happens to be a theory which was postulated by an economist named Wilfredo Pareto. Now, let me share with you how this theory can be applied to success. Success is not something that has fascinated you, me, or people who are logged in or otherwise. Success is something that has fascinated millions of people and not now, for times immemorial. And this research on how many people in the world are successful vis-a-vis how many are not has been an ongoing practice. So 100 years back, when this research was conducted, the results and the statistic that popped was alarming, because the statistic says that 100 years back, approximately 20% of the world was successful and 80% of the world was not successful. Okay, fair enough, let's digest that. 50 years down the line from thereafter, after World War One and World War Two were past, when this research was done all over again, and to everyone's surprise, the statistics didn't change. It was still 20% of the world leading 80% of the world. All right, fair enough, previous century, let's bygones be bygones. Let's look at this century. When this century began, the same research was conducted the umpteenth time all over again. And it was found that this statistic refuses to budge. It still is 80-20. That is 20% of the world leads 80% of the world. So no matter when you run this test, no matter which era, which civilization, which century you have run this litmus test, it has always surfaced the same statistic, that is 20% of the world has led the 80% of the world. Now, when you listen to something like that, what pops in your head? To me, how I construe this is that it definitely is not easy to be successful. Only 20% people are able to do what it takes to be successful. 80% people slog, toil, invest every possible ounce of hard work, and yet are not able to accomplish. So it definitely is not easy. However, since I'm a psychologist, I will also confidently share that who is going to make it to the 20%? There's no fixed formula to decipher that. Everyone who's right now listening and beyond has the same potential to be successful than as compared to those who make it big, provided you have your value system in place. So, now let me share with you, as promised at the onset, some of the evidence, that is, success stories of hobby career. So, to begin with, the first evidence that I want to share right now is Carol Gardner. Now, Carol Gardner, when she was 52 years old, she found herself divorced, deeply in debt, and depressed. one of her attorney friends advised her that either she got herself a therapist or she bought herself a pet. And you know what? Of the two options proposed, Carol went ahead and bought a pet for herself. Carol, and she was fond of drawing. So the first greeting card sitting in a drawing room on a lonely evening, which she drew, had her pet on it. And that gave the birth to a complete new business venture that she saw herself leading. Zelda Wisdom, a greeting cards company, was born. And 20 years from thereafter, today Carol is a multi-millionaire who translated her hobby for drawing into a career and a successful one. So, guys, what she could do after divorce and being in debt and depressed was not an ordinary thing. Okay, let me share one more evidence with you, and this time the evidence is from closer home, New Delhi, NCR. And you is Avani Malhotra, a trained psychologist academically and a young teacher at DPS NCR, and her younger sister Akriti, working for Ernst and Young, in Delhi. Both the sisters, for their love of baking, turned their hobby into a hobby career, and today they have around the clock orders queuing up. For Love of Cake is their brand, and this brand of home baked cakes are a signature presence in several high end birthday parties, elite weddings, penthouse occasions. And recently, they diversified and opened an eatery named Aku's Burger Company, which is already a popular joint in South Delhi, I'm told. Now, imagine two sisters, because of the sheer love for baking, translated their passion, the activity they found themselves engaging in their free time into a hobby career. So, be it hobby growing millions of dollars, or be it hobby growing millions of fans for the love of your craft, in either cases, it is worth giving a shot. For example, one person I met some years back who turns out to be a live example of how hobbies can be translated into millions of fans and dreams worth millions of dollars is Lokesh Guliani. Freelance philanthropist, a senior consultant at a top notch MNC, Louis Berger, handling the Metro project as the PR head. An author, a lyricist, a popular RJ with all time high rated air show on national FM channel, a doting dad to an 11-year-old son who's a national level drummer, a proud husband to a beautiful classical dancer, Manisha Guliani. His five books are a healthy mix of different formats and languages. His first book was published in 2015. Its name was Jack, Jennifer, and Jesselmer. And it was out and out a psychological thriller. And I simply loved reading it when I was given a chance to read it. Move it. Okay. His His second book was Both, which was published and released in 2017. This book is not only a piece of intriguing uh, fantasy fiction akin a Narnia or a Harry Potter, children are absolutely loving getting lost in its labyrinth. And it is in Hindi, so permeating each segment of readers and being loved and enjoyed by all. So next time you want to pick up a book for your young one, you can pick up a copy of both. Sorry, huh? And his next came his collection of poetry, Zehni Ayashi. So he's also a poet and he's also now a lyricist One of his songs is under process for being released as a Bollywood number. Thereafter came his book Wo Kahani Yahi Hai, an assortment of 8 short stories. And his most recent venture due for release this year is You Bloody Shit Punjabi. And trust me, no offense meant to any Punjabi, self included, is just a humorous take on the proverbial phrase. Some of his books are already with producers, as I said, and may soon face silver screen. Fingers crossed. So here is a live example of someone amidst us who cracked a career breakthrough, courtesy what he enjoyed doing in his free time as a hobby. Over to Lokesh.
Hello, I'm Lokesh Guliani, and you're watching me on Quench. I'm very thankful to Quench कि उन्होंने मुझे याद किया that I should share my professional journey with you. और it's been quite long journey. Like 2001, I started my career with ETV Rajasthan, and after that, I worked for various radio and television channels. उसके बाद तो मेरा ट्रैक ही चेंज हो गया. फिर मैं गवर्नमेंट कंसल्टेंसी में आ गया, MNCs के साथ काम करने लग गया, और आई वर्क फॉर डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स. लेकिन एक चीज़ पक्की थी कि शुरू से मुझे पता था कि सिर्फ ये जॉब ही मेरा सब कुछ नहीं है. लाइक आई एम नॉट मेंट फॉर जॉब ओनली. कुछ मेरे शौक़ हैं, कुछ मेरी पसंद है, वो मैंने हमेशा ज़िंदा रखी. लाइक मुझे बोलना पसंद है तो मैंने आरजेइंग भी की, मुझे लिखना पढ़ना पसंद है तो मैंने किताबें भी लिखी, और भी कई शौक़ थे जो टाइम के साथ आते गए चले गए. लेकिन कुछ शौक़ थे जो अभी तक बने हुए हैं. लाइक लिखना पढ़ना तो अभी तक है जारी और आगे भी रहेगा. पॉइंट ये है कहने का कि आपको एक जॉब मिल जाती है और आप उसमें खुश होकर अपनी ज़िंदगी बिता लेते हैं, वो भी ठीक है. लेकिन अगर आपके कुछ शौक़ हैं उसको आप सिर्फ वक्त के साथ ख़त्म कर डालते हैं तो वो एक अच्छी बात नहीं है. हो सके तो उनको परस्यू कीजिए, अपने ड्रीम्स को आप चेस कीजिए. क्या पता, यू नेवर नो, आपका कब एक पैरेलल करियर खड़ा हो जाए जो उस जॉब से भी बड़ा हो जाए जो आप कर रहे हैं. सो जो मेरी वाइफ है वो मुझे हमेशा से इनकरेज करती रही थी कि मैं लिख सकता हूँ, आप लिखते क्यों नहीं. वो उनको मतलब मुझे बोलती रहती थी कि आपको लिखना चाहिए, आपको लिखना चाहिए टाइम टू टाइम. तो मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा सीरियसली पहले इस चीज़ को लिया नहीं था. रेडियो टेलीविजन में तो मैं लिखता था, लेकिन वो अपने चैनल्स के लिए लिखता था. वो मेरा अपना पर्सनल उसमें कोई कलेक्शन नहीं था. तो 2015 में आई स्टार्टेड राइटिंग प्रोफेशनली एंड सीरियसली. सो माय फर्स्ट नॉवल केम by the name of J. वो एक पैरानॉर्मल थ्रिलर था. उसके बाद 2017 में दूसरा आया, फिर 18 में आया, फिर 19 में आया. तो ऐसे करके मेरे अब तक 4 नॉवल आ चुके हैं और 5वां अब आने वाला है, और एक मैं अभी लिख रहा हूँ. इसके अलावा और भी कई चीज़ें हैं जो करता रहता हूँ. लाइक लिखने के अलावा कहीं कोई बोलने की अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है, लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल्स वगैरह होते हैं, ब्लॉग्स वगैरह, ये सब मैं करता रहता हूँ. एक्चुअली क्या है, हम लोग जब एक करियर या एक शौक के बारे में सोचते हैं तो उसको 360 डिग्री के एंगल से नहीं सोचते. कभी कभार ये बहुत रिक्वायर्ड है कि आप किसी भी चीज़ को उसके डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स पे एक बार सोच के देखिए. इट हेल्प्स यू अ लॉट. अगर आप लिखते हैं तो आप लिखने के हिसाब से भी सोच सकते हैं. जैसे मैं तो सिर्फ अपनी किताब लिख के बैठा था, लेकिन किसी दिन मुझसे एक FM जो ऑडियो बुक्स वगैरह हैं उनका एक कॉल आया आगे बढ़ के, एंड दे आस्क्ड कि मैं क्या अपनी कुछ बुक्स को ऑडियो बुक्स की तरह उनको देना पसंद करूँगा या नहीं. सो आई गेव दैट, और उससे फिर एक डायमेंशन खुल गया. ऐसे ही कुछ बुक्स हैं मेरी जो अभी वेब सीरीज के लिए प्रोड्यूसर्स के पास रखी हुई हैं. उनकी हाँ या ना का मुझे इंतज़ार है. आई डोंट नो वो सक्सेसफुल हो गए हैं, बट आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि अगर आप कुछ काम करते हैं तो उसके बहुत सारे पैरामीटर्स हो सकते हैं. सिर्फ इतना मत सोचिए कि आप जॉब कर रहे हैं और बस यही आपका इतिश्री है, यही मामला खत्म है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। सो अच्छा ये रहेगा कि आप अपने करियर के साथ अपने शौक को भी जिंदा रखिए, एंड यू नेवर नो ये कब आपको पैसा देना शुरू कर दे। और पैसा मिलेगा ये सोच के अपना शौक आप परस्यू ना करें तो ज़्यादा बेहतर है। आप अपने शौक को ईमानदारी से परस्यू करते रहिए, उसका पीछा करते रहिए, और वो चीज़ अपने आप मॉनिटरी टर्म्स पे बेनिफिशियल होती चली जाएगी। ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है। लाइक 5 साल बीतने के बाद मेरा काम अब लोगों के सामने है। At least I have a collection with me. I can share with people. I can share with the producers. I can share with um, different publishers. है ना, चैनल्स वगैरह पे मैं अपना काम भेज सकता हूँ, तो एटलीस्ट आई हैव अ कैटलॉग टू शेयर। सो 5 साल के बाद मैं कह सकता हूँ कि हाँ, मेरा काम मुझे अब रिटर्न देना शुरू हुआ है। सो यू नेवर नो आपकी किस्मत कब जाग जाए, आपका कौन सा काम चल निकले और वो आपको कहाँ से कहाँ ले जाए। आई थिंक अपने शो के माध्यम से श्वेता भी यही कहना चाह रही है आपको, और आपने मुझे इतना वक्त दिया, इतना मुझे सुना, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। थैंक यू।
Lokesh, we just loved what you had to say to all of us, because this is absolutely my firm belief that if you have an interest, if you have a hobby, if there's something that you love doing, it's not a bad idea to keep pursuing it. And I must tell all my listeners and viewers and watchers that Lokesh Goliani is also one of the most loved RJs of some of the top channels on FM, and he was popularly known as Radio Sanam. And I'm sure a lot of us have spent a lot of our evenings listening to his love advice. So thank you so much. So now, the list of success stories is exhaustive. I can just go on and on and on and on. But the few examples I carefully picked up was just to give you a flavor of what it entails to see your hobby contribute to your career creation and wealth generation. So, with hobby career, there's age no bar, location no bar, prior experience no bar, gender just no bar, qualification required absolutely no bar, revenue potential not at all no bar, and the joy and the happiness and the extra money that you may get is bar and bar. So, did you like this video so far? If you did, subscribe to our channel, The Quench Academy. It would be awesome if you shared it with all your friends, and if you want even more great resources and content, plus some personal insights from me, stay subscribed to our channel. The one place where you will be learning everything that education forgot to teach us about career creation and wealth generation. That will help you make your dreams come true, and I'm committed to helping you do that. So far, so good. That is, if you already are now contemplating starting a hobby career, let me continue sharing with you more insights and tips. How millions of people in the world are growing a passion or a hobby or an interest into a million dollar venture. Okay, I would now recommend you to get, so step zero. I would like to share the steps on how to begin a hobby career. Now that if you're already mulling over, are tempted by, and are thinking about it, so let's begin with how to do it. Because a lot of us must already be lost. What do I do? Where do I begin from? So, step zero, first of all, make sure that you have a notepad or something to write with handy, because what I'm going to share now is something that you may have to work on. Step number 1, make an interest list. First step in the process is to sit down and make a list of your interests. And you don't include chores or errands that you run, rather things that you do in your free time. Anything and everything that pops in your head, just keep adding it. And don't just stop there. Go out, go to meet your friends, your family, your uncles, your aunts, your parents, and ask them, when you were growing up as a little boy, what were the thing, boy or a girl, what were the things that you were really passionate about? When you see me, ask them, when you see me, what do you think about I'm good at? Or tell me that if you were to hire me for something, what is it that you would hire me for? And ignore my current job if you're all working already. Trust me, the results will shock you completely. what the world gets back to you telling you about what they think about you. For example, I remember when I asked one of my students to run this exercise for herself, she had her friends tell her that they would hire her for their makeup because she carried her makeup so well. They always thought, how on earth did she do it so well? And another example, another student who was a boy this time, who was, when he went out and did this exercise for himself, his friends and family got back to him saying, we would totally hire you to organize everything in our house. He was like, what? You really think so? And they said, yeah, everything in your house is so immaculate. Even your storeroom and your garage look so nice. Everything has a name and a place, it goes to its place. So each one of my clients I ever suggested this to came back with a similar reaction. They were surprised at the way the world perceived them. You know, uh, you don't realize. You don't realize that the things that you are good at are the things that you have developed over a lifetime, effortlessly, just like that. They are now inherent. And because we don't feel special and we think that everybody should be able to do them as well as you do them, not realizing that everybody cannot do it as well as you can do it. And they might be willing to pay you good money for that. And why I ask you to go to your parents is because they can remind you of what you were like when you were a little toddler. And that may spark some good memories or what were those things that you were really happy doing. So we need an outside perspective on who we are and what all we are good at to enlist a healthy sequence of all possibilities. So step number 1, make a list and don't limit to you yourself or what you think your interests are, but go and conjure up information from people outside of your inner circle, friends, relatives, parents, colleagues, anyone. You will be surprised how the world perceives you and the lens world perceives you through, because what I think about myself is one me. What the world thinks about me is second me. What I think the world thinks about me is third me. And what I really am is the fourth me. So if I want to know who I really am, I absolutely need to collect that perspective from the outer world. Okay, now step number 2, pain or pleasure points of each interest engagement. What pain this interest, this hobby, or this activity alleviates, that is, reduces? Or what pleasure or happiness does this elicit, that is, produces? So you have to just do a mental exercise that whatever your interest area is, what kind of pleasure does it help you experience, and what kind of pain does it help you minimize? Because everything either helps us feel better and it reduces pain, which is also a way of feeling happier. So you want to sit down and think about what is the impact each of these hobbies have. What do they do to minimize challenges and difficulties and pain or bring joy and happiness? So, why do you need to do this? Because people pay money for the impact to experience happiness and pleasure or reduce pain and challenges. Now, let us go back to the two examples I shared. The girl who was told that she had the knack for makeup by her friends, and it was based on an evening where she helped get one of her friends ready. She helped her do the makeup for one of the friends. And that particular evening, the friend looked more beautiful than ever before. And she felt so happy, looking as beautiful as she had never before. Her confidence was never as high as that. So, similarly, the boy who was told that his friends loved visiting his house because everything was so pleasing and evoked a sense of peace and calm, unlike their own house or many other houses where everything is cluttered and disorganized and triggers a sense of anxiety. And for their house or workplace, they would love some peace, same peace and some calm and everything having its place. So, recognizing these connections between what your interests are and how the world feels a sense of pleasure and reduced pain is vital. So, second step is sit down and draw the link between the things that you love doing, your interest area, your strengths, which people give you feedback for. How do they help in reducing pain and eliciting pleasure. Let's move on to step number 3. How can you reduce the pain and maximize pleasure in people with these skills? Now, that's the bridge that we have to link between our strength, our skills, and people. Now, let me share with you how I discovered my strength to be able to launch my own L&D services. I am academically a psychologist with specialization in organizational behavior, with an additional qualification in management from IIM Lucknow. Now, I started my career as a faculty in the Department of Psychology, followed by leading HR function at an MNC. In every role, my job involved me to deal with young adults. While I was hired to do sundry several other things, over time I was made to realize that I was best at and able to help people discover their core strengths through various exercises that I authored. And soon I was the go to person for anyone struggling professionally or personally. And hence, after 2 decades of working in the corporate landscape, I stepped away and started my own L&D venture, where we are helping people discover the magic they are gifted with and aptly use it for career creation and wealth generation. Now, nothing happens overnight, guys. Even an idea takes its due course to evolve. So, once you have settled with the idea, let it evolve. Okay, so third point, try and see how you can build a bridge between your strength, your interest, and how it can help people feel better about themselves. What kind of pain can your strength and your skill help them get rid of, and what kind of pleasure it can help people experience? So, we move on to step number 4. Offer your services or your product for free to a select few. Okay, now, even with 2 decades of experience, when I started my L&D chapter, to be very honest, the first thing that I started with was my Beacon program, and this was a program that I absolutely believed into my core, and this was called the Why Not You campaign. Now, the campaign was designed to get the people to question themselves. If millions of ordinary people out there could make it big in life, why not you? The purpose was to help people discover their magic. Why Not You was a campaign that I ran totally philanthropically for months, for corporates, for government bodies, for academic institutes, for students, for employees, for women, for men, for children, for everyone. Now, um, so that helped me understand my audience. That helped me understand what the common people needed. That helped me have a better sensibility of whatever I had to offer. Was it helping people experience some kind of pleasure and helping them get rid of some of their challenges in life? And that gave me a lot of fodder to design my programs thereafter. Now let's move on to step number 5, and that is set a low price point and start small. I'm sure you have, and we all have role models we look up to, are inspired by, and we often find ourselves saying, "Oh my God, I'm never going to be as good as that person." Trust me, if that is what is stopping you from starting because you fear starting small, you're probably victim of what I call perfection paralysis. Don't wait for everything to become perfect. That I should have perfect funds, perfect marketing, perfect team, perfect product, perfect everything before I start. I endorse start before you are ready. So don't just wait for getting ready to perfection. Start before you are ready. Just go out and take an action in the right direction. And to be very honest, every person who's up there and successful and professional started as an amateur. Let me share some examples with you. For example, Coca Cola could only sell 25 Coke bottles in their first year of existence. Did you know that? And here on your screen, you can see many giant brands started as bootstrapped companies. And by bootstrapped companies, I mean they had zero funds from any external source. They did not have anyone investing financially in their idea. Whatever little money they had in the name of their savings is all they invested in. So, be it Hewitt and Packard of HP, be it Michael Dell of Dell, be it Steve Jobs of Apple, and so closer home, in the bottom of the screen, you can see Karsan Bhai Patel in Gujarat, the founder of detergent brand Nirma. And he started by selling homemade powder packets door to door. And when he made those packets, he priced it lower than the existing brand price. It was, I guess, 3 rupees per packet to test the acceptance of his product with commoners. Imagine all these big brands that we know of today, be it Dell, be it HP, be it Apple, be it Nirma. They started small, very, very, very small. They didn't wait to have everything perfectly going for them. They didn't have heavy investments flowing into their ideas. So if you are itching to start the wheels of extra side income rolling, but you are overwhelmed with how to start, where to start from, what to start with, don't waste your time on brainstorming any further. Start before you are ready. That is, go out there, take the required action of doing. Don't just sit back and keep thinking, waiting for the right idea, right packaging, right promotion, blah, 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 is only going to put your idea and bury it forever and ever. So, perfection paralysis, please get rid of that. There's another villain to why 80% of us are not able to take off, and that is our own egos, which whisper into our head all the time. There's a soft sound in the background which is constantly whispering into our ear, and it says, what if you are not successful? What if your friends and family find it silly? What if you cut a sorry figure? What if people think you're greedy, turning your hobby into a money making machine? All this chatter in your head ain't the right sounds to listen to. It is very normal phenomena called negativity bias. That is, we tend to give more importance to things that are negative than those that are neutral or positive. And you know what? This has a very, very biological, historic, neurological, psychological history. And that is, it is not just a fancy idea that popped in my head. This is a scientifically based idea. And the truth is that our brains are wired to focus, our brains, our neurological brain circuitry is wired to focus more on the negative and bad and ignore the good. And you know why? Because in the ancient times, the brain circuitry helped our ancestors stay alive. So, for millions of years now, Mother Nature has been conditioning us to overestimate threats and underestimate opportunities and resources. You know what? Because if we did not do that, every time there was a sound in the dark when we were sleeping in the jungles, and we thought it was just a friend passing by, and in reality, it could have been a beast in a jungle. So our brains were naturally, over the years, over the centuries, over the lifetimes, conditioned to think and capture negative sooner and quicker than positive. Now, coming to the end of this session, a quick reminder of the entire session. My effort today was to help you understand the 3 reasons why anybody out there should consider hobby careers, why you should actually give it a full swing shot. Because hobbies are something that we love doing. And if you can also start getting paid for something that you love doing, it is not going to ever get easier than this to make it to the 20% in the world. So don't be driven by luxury goals, but fire your ambition with the fuel of strong values. It is not the luxury goals dangling out there that motivate you. It is your values that give you that push. So when you have failures after failures after failures, and you hundredth time get up to go out and face again, it is not the luxury goals. It is your own grit. It is your own perseverance. It is your own raw material. It is your own mental makeup that tells you to continue to be positive and go out and chase and fight and whatever it takes to do. Second, so after talking about why everybody should talk three reasons why everybody should consider a hobby career. Second important thing, don't be muddled by luxury goals. Luxury goals will happen eventually, but what it requires is a strong value system at the onset. Then please don't let yourself be victim of perfection paralysis and negativity bias. They are two demons, two villains which are corrupting your efforts and killing your chances of making it big. So choose to listen, choose to read, choose to follow who has already made it happen to himself or herself. Who you listen to, who you read, and who you follow affects and influences your own success ratio. So if they could do it, and so many out there could do it, why not you? Please go ahead and download the replay link. I'm sure my team is sharing the link below. These are very wonderful tools that will help you or anybody you know who is going through a job challenge or a career derailment or a career bottleneck and needs help with career creation and wealth generation. Guys, this is the only place where you will ever learn what education completely forgot to teach you. And those are the skills and the mental makeup that is necessary to make the right decisions, take the right actions, and see the life grow and blossom in the right form. That is career creation and wealth generation. No matter who we are and who you are, there's room for enough growth for everyone. So please come together and every Saturday 11 a.m. for more of these wisdom nuggets. I will keep doling out capsules of programs that will help you be able to contribute to your careers and your wealth generation program. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend ahead and God bless all.